Hey guys, so I am here at my home and today we put up a fence. So as you can see in the background here, the guys have been working all day, and it's some of my Amish friends from up in Mayo, Michigan. They came out, they're about 3 hours from here, and they put up a fence that will hold my little sheep. So I've got 5 Shetland sheep on order and I'm so excited to finally bring them home. So I've got a mama and 2 babies and 2 other sheep, and they're just really teeny tiny, not teeny tiny, but they're Shetland sheep. So I can't wait to show you and introduce you to my new sheep. So here it is. We've got another patch of fencing that is going up in the wooded area, and that's going to be a different type of fence. It's going to be a woven wire for goats. So what we plan to do is bring in some goats there so they can eat the brush down. The woods here by my house has not been stewarded, I feel. There's a lot of invasive species. The woods have been overtaken by buckthorn, privet, and autumn olive. So my plan is to bring in some goats and hopefully they'll eat everything down. They like to climb up on bushes, they like to climb up on trees and kind of chew everything down. So they'll have a field day out here in this patch of woods, and I can take you out there later and show you what that looks like. It's really important to call Miss Dig before you start digging post holes, or in the case of my Amish fence builders, they're pounding these poles into the ground. But we came pretty close, but we're so glad that Miss Dig came out and put these flags up for us. My neighbors are really happy that I didn't bust a gas line. So I'm out here at the edge of the woods, and this is the privet that I was talking about. This whole area, and you can see it's really soaking up the sunlight and growing strong. You can't pull this stuff out, so the goats are going to have a field day here on this privet. So I'm going to need like 100 goats to be able to make their way through all of this privet and buckthorn and autumn olive that I have here on my property. I'm standing in the middle of a buckthorn jungle. You can see all the little seeds here in the early fall are starting to form on this buckthorn. The birds are going to come by, eat the little berries off of the buckthorn, drop the seeds out into the rest of my woods with a little packet of fertilizer. So this buckthorn won't stop coming unless somebody does something about it. So it's very invasive, and my plan is to get goats out here in the woods to chew all this stuff down and kill it. So hopefully they'll eat all these little tender branches. They'll be pulling the bark off of all of the buckthorn and autumn olive and privet, and hopefully it will be dead for good. This is dogwood, so it doesn't get real big. How tall is this? I don't know, 10 feet, 12 feet. This is a pretty big area of dogwood bushes, and you can tell that they're dogwood because of the little red stems, and these had little white berries on them. But I see the birds have already gotten to these, and these leaves are just about ready to fall off, and they have provided a lot of food for the birds and a lot of shelter for beneficial insects and pollinators. So that's a good thing. I don't want to knock down too many of these dogwoods. You can tell that this field has not been maintained. No one has been stewarding this land in decades. So you might think, well, what the heck? Why not just let it grow up? Because like I showed you in other areas, a lot of what will grow up will be the invasive species, the buckthorn and the privet and the autumn olive, and that will just take over everything. So we're going to try to bring it back to a silvo pasture. So I don't think goldenrod is the best thing to have out in your field. It's Mother Nature's sign of showing you that you don't have the best soil. But once it's all cut down, the light's going to be able to come in, and clover will come up, timothy will come up, alfalfa, all kinds of different things that were originally in this field 100 years ago. So I told you that the good dogwood had pointy leaves compared to the buckthorn, but look at this bush. This bush also has pointy leaves, but this is a invasive species here in Michigan. And if you turn it upside down, you can see the bright silver underside of the leaf. This is autumn olive, honeysuckle, and a lot of people brought this over from Japan, and it smells so nice around your Victorian home, and it creates a nice barrier, but it's very invasive. It doesn't belong here, and it's really taking over. As you can see, again, mid-October, and the leaves are still bright green. It's still hanging on. So you might be wondering why I showed you around my home and my little farm here. It's part of our mission statement. It's part of our core values at Achatz Pie Company, is to become more sustainable. It's our quest to find humanely raised animals. If we're going to be using milk and eggs and cream and butter and chicken, we want the best that we can find. We want animals that are raised on green pasture, who are breathing fresh air and who have access to the out of doors like an animal should. I have been studying grass-fed cattle, grass-fed sheep, and pasture-raised poultry for 3 or 4 years. I became really interested in it. So I'm very concerned about the environment and soil erosion, and the best way to preserve your soil is to get hooves out on the field and into the woods. When my sheep come out here, I won't have to mow my grass anymore, so that'll be a really great carbon sequestration. Instead of putting carbon into the atmosphere, we'll be able to sequester carbon by the animals eating the grass. So I hope that I've sparked your interest maybe a little bit. Maybe you want to start with your own small farm, get a few backyard chickens, grow your own eggs. Feel free to watch some of my other videos where I talk about my search for 100% grass-fed milk to make our cream pies. I'm also on the search for pasture-raised eggs as well. So we have done a lot of R&D on our cream pies, and they taste a whole lot better with the pasture-raised eggs and the 100% grass-fed milk. So like I said, guys, I have other videos here on my YouTube channel. Feel free to check some of those out. So if you do have your own homestead project going on, or you want to get started up, let me hear about it in the comments below. I'd love to see what you're doing as well. All right, everyone, thanks for watching today. Please hit the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and I'll see you next Wednesday.